Nowadays, before black people can even confront the system of white supremacy, we often have to first fight against those black people that have been brainwashed to defend it. These are those black people that have been trauma bonded to the white society. The term trauma bonded is usually associated with individual abusive relationships, wherein which an abused person is trauma bonded to a narcissistic abuser. In this scenario, after repeatedly brutalizing the victim, the narcissistic abuser never acknowledges any of his wrongdoing. He instead minimizes the abuse and tells the victim that the abuse wasn't that bad to just get over it, or that it was their own fault. He then constantly inundates the victim with demoralizing and disapproving narratives about the victim. This is continued until the victim stops focusing on the abuse that they endured and instead starts focusing on the demoralizing and disapproving narratives. Therefore, rather than resenting the abuser for the abuse, the victim instead, now focusing only on the demoralizing, disapproving narratives, instead tries to win the approval of the abuser. This trauma bonding effect provides the abuser with a more favorable outcome from the victim rather than having the victim hating and resenting them for the abuse. It's a gaslighting tactic. Likewise, that same trauma bonding abusive manipulation tactic is what the white society has done to black people. After brutalizing black people for many centuries, the white society never acknowledged any of their horrible wrongdoings. They instead insist that the abuse that black people receive, it wasn't that bad and we should just get over it. They even whitewashed their textbooks to claim that the white society's enslavement of black people improved our lives. Then they constantly inundate black people with black racially demoralizing, white disapproving narratives about ourselves. Therefore, rather than resenting the white society for abusing us throughout history, many black people instead tries to win the approval of the white society. Many black people will even go out of their ways to try to show the white society that we're not all bad. This is the truth of our plight and condition. Black people are within a trauma-bonded, abusive relationship with a narcissistic white society. And just like within most abusive relationships, the white abusers have convinced many black people to believe that the abuse that we endured was our own fault. It's a psychological mind hack. The minds of targeted populations are quite easy to manipulate if they're unaware of what's being done to them. Once minds have been confused, manipulation becomes simple. The mind will even ignore common sense and rationality falls away, even overlooking hypocrisy and deception. The truth has finally come forward, but they brainwashed millions of us to fear it and to hate those who speak it. These are those black people that have been brainwashed to literally act as wardens of their own mental prisons. Millions also refuse to accept the truth because of the inherent call for action that comes with accepting the truth. Moreover, they therefore cling to their biblical fairy tales and the silly slave syndrome myths that allows them to stay within the good graces of their oppressors, while their minds remain dumbed down and mentally enslaved to the benefit of their oppressors. It's time to wake up to our reality.